So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. Hope everything's good. So guys, we've had Gervonta Davis beat Mario Barrios in the 11th round. I believe he stopped him. Now I watched that fight with my brother, and Barrios. Got to give credit to Barrios. He showed a lot of heart. He showed a great chin. Gervonta Davis is very impressive fighter, very, very good fighter, very explosive fighter. He's very, very explosive. He's got a very good chin as well. He takes a good shot. And in the 8th round, the fight was quite close. It was quite a close fight. I think Barrios did very, very well. And he impressed me, to be honest. He impressed me. He definitely impressed me. In the 8th round, I'll just tell you the key moments of the fight. In the 8th round, Barrios got caught with like a right hook, I believe, a right hook that caught him on the temple, and Barrios went down quite hard. And then, Barrios got up, and then he got caught again and went down again. But then after that, Barrios rallied and he came back. And then in the 11th round, he got hit with a huge body shot. And that put him to the ground. And Gervonta Davis, jumped on him and then stopped him. And the referee intervened, rightfully so, and stopped the fight. The fight was, up until the 8th round, it was quite an even fight, to be honest with you. I thought Gervonta Davis was having his moments. Barrios was having his moments. Barrios was fighting quite a disciplined fight. He fought a very good fight, actually. I was very impressed with Barrios, to be honest with you. I think Barrios did he did a great job. He fought a disciplined fight. He was quite tight. He showed a good chin. But the thing is with Tank, what Tank has, he has very explosive power. He's very explosive. Like, I always use this analogy where explodes into life. I felt like that with Adonis Stevenson. I feel a bit like that with Wilder. I feel a bit like that with Teofimo. And I feel a bit like that with Gervonta Davis, where they're explosive punchers. Guys like that are always dangerous because they're always looking for an opening. They're always looking for that big shot. And he found it in the 8th. And then he found it in the 11th with that body shot, which was a sickening body shot. I'm quite, Barrios again showing his toughness, getting up from that body shot. But, I just think in the end, he was just a bit too much for Barrios. I will say this, though. Gervonta Davis is a quality fighter, and I really like Gervonta Davis. And listen, respect to Barrios as well. He's got a great heart, great determination. But I do think Gervonta Davis now has to start stepping up, in the sense that, listen, Barrios was a good fight and a good fighter, no doubt about it. But nobody looked at Barrios as an elite 140-pounder. Leo Santa Cruz was a good win in his last fight, but that again was against a guy that was a lot smaller than him. I feel like it's good matchmaking by their team and stuff. But I do think now's the time where I feel like they need to step up that competition, and the next fight needs to be something significant. And when I mean something significant, I think it needs to be, because Davis has had enough fights now. He's had enough fights, and I know he's young still, but I think it's time for him to now get into that fight where it's either a Josh Taylor, or it's either a Teofimo Lopez, or it's either a Devin Haney, someone like that, where people think, whoa, he's got a chance of losing that fight. Because one thing I will say about Tank, that he can be outboxed. He can be outboxed. And sometimes I think that he looks for that big shot too much. He tries to load up and he tries to, hurt guys. But when you fight the elite fighters, especially if he stays at 140 pounds and fights the elite fighters at 140 pounds, they're a lot bigger than him. They'll be able to absorb the shots a lot better. Like Barrios, for example. Although he got Barrios out of there, they'll be able to absorb the shots better. Also, they're also powerful, so they could potentially hurt him. I think he needs to box a lot more, not just look for the big shot. And I'm pretty sure, listen, man, they've got a great team around them. They've got one of the greatest fighters of all time in Floyd Mayweather there. So I'm pretty sure they'd be working on that. And also what I liked with Tank was his, I felt like he was defensively very good. He made Barrios miss, especially in the sixth or seventh round. I can't remember which round it was, but he was very elusive. His defensive skills were on show, and he looked quite. He's got very good defensive skills as well. In the sixth round, he definitely showed them. He's probably got to show that more. Sometimes I think Davis takes a lot of shots. And again, when you step up in there and against the elite, especially at 140, that might be a problem because those guys hit harder, they're bigger, they're stronger. So you could get caught and hurt. So listen, I think there's obviously areas of improvement. The guy is young, but I would like to see him now step up with someone elite at 135 or 140. I'm not sure whether they're going to be willing to step up in there with Regis or Josh Taylor, even though the Josh Taylor fight would make a lot of sense. And I actually think it's a calculated risk. I think that would be a good fight. And again, I'll say this again. Josh Taylor is a very skilled fighter, very good fighter. But Gervonta Davis has explosive power. He has the kind of power that can hurt and knock anybody out. And he fought a big 140-pounder. And although I don't think Barrios is an elite 140-pounder, he's still a very big he still looks a very, very big dude, right? And Davis handled him. So I would like to see him fight someone, maybe a Ramirez, maybe if it's not going to be Taylor, but they have already dismissed. Leonard Ellaby said that they're not going to fight Josh Taylor, so they've already kind of dismissed that fight. So I'd assume that he's going to go back down to 135. If that's the case, then it has to be a big name now. It has to be somebody that, that's considered an elite 135-pounder. Why not fight Lomachenko? Again, I don't think he beats Lomachenko. I think Lomachenko's too skilled. And as I just said, I think, we've already seen that, Gervonta can be outboxed. And someone like Lomachenko with his skill set would probably be a nightmare for someone like Gervonta Davis. But Gervonta Davis does have explosive power. He does have power to, turn the lights off. He definitely has that kind of explosive power. So why not now? Because eventually they're gonna have to put him in there with someone that's elite at 135 and 140, or if they're gonna stay at 140, because surely they can't keep fighting. Listen, Barrios was a good fighter, and I don't want to take anything away from Barrios because he was tough and he was great. But we needed someone, a big name at 135 or 140. Some of the top elite guys, which I don't think he's been fighting. Like he fought Gamboa, who was past his best at 135. At 130, he fought Pedraza. Again, I just want to see him fight. I just want to see him fight one of the elite guys at 135 or 140. Because I don't think he's going to go back down to 130. I'd be very surprised. So I think he'd probably see him back at 135. But then the question, there's Lomachenko, there's Devin Haney, there's Teofimo Lopez. There's good fights out there for him. So surely at 135, there's enough guys out there for him to fight. And I want to see him fight those guys. I do think 140 might be too much of a stretch. I think 140 maybe those guys might just be a little bit too big for him. And I think this fight kind of highlighted that a little bit because Barrios was able to absorb his shots. Also, Davis was down, and if Barrios managed to make it through to the 12, who knows, he may have even got the decision. I don't know what the official scorecards were, and I wasn't scoring the fight myself, but the fight, like I said, was very close. Maybe the knockdowns would have made a difference, but I do think the fight was very, very close. I don't think there was a lot in it, and I don't think Gervonta, if this is what I'm trying to say, I don't think Gervonta Davis is a guy that wins rounds comfortably, or is great at winning rounds, because his fights, like even the Leo Santa Cruz fight, I think probably a lot of people had him down prior to the knockout. So at the end of the day, if you keep winning fights by knockout, eventually there's going to be somebody that you meet that you're not going to be able to knock out. And if he's a skilled boxer, you may not be able to beat him on points either. So then he may end up losing to somebody that is able to absorb his power and take his shots, because this was very, very close. What I mean by that is Barrios was doing very, very well, and Barrios managed to take this very late. A lot of people didn't expect this fight to be that close and this fight to be taken that late. They thought Tank Davis would knock Barrios out quickly, but that wasn't the case. So And you got to give Barrios credit for showing that heart, that determination. But is Gervonta Davis going to be a successful 140-pounder? I don't. I think he may be a little bit too small. I think he should go maybe 135 will probably be the best weight for him. But again, his competition, the guy that he fights next, has to be someone that, you know, is elite at that weight, or, you know, elite at 140 if he's going to stay at 140. Because for his manager to say that, you know, the Josh Taylor fight don't make sense and we're not looking at that fight, that's crazy, because Gervonta Davis is a top fighter now. He should be fighting the elite of the division, rather than fighting guys like Marius. Like, Barrios is a good fighter. Again, he's a good fighter, and he displayed that today. But he's not, for me, at the minute, he's not an elite 140-pounder. What I mean by is the champions or the ex-champions at the weight. I know he was a regular champion. I'm talking about, you know, Josh Taylor or Ramirez or Prograis, guys like that, or, you know, a Postal, someone like that. That's who we probably would like to see Gervonta fight next. And to be honest with you, Taylor would probably take that fight in a heartbeat, because Gervonta is a bigger star than Josh Taylor. So from a profile point of view, that's great for Josh Taylor. And Josh Taylor would look at that fight as he's fighting a smaller guy. You know, Gervonta Davis isn't a big 140-pounder. So you'd have to say Taylor will probably go into that fight as a favorite. Although Gervonta Davis is dangerous, as I just pointed out, you know, he's got punching power and he's explosive, and those guys are dangerous because they could hit you with a shot and wipe you out. So that obviously, that fight for Taylor comes with danger as well, because Gervonta Davis is explosive. But you'd have to say Josh Taylor has the advantages. He has the physical advantages, and he's the bigger guy. So I love to see that fight. Love to see Gervonta fight Devin Haney. I love to see Gervonta fight Teofimo. What a fight that is. That would be a great fight. That would be a hard fight as well, because, again, Gervonta is very explosive and Teofimo's explosive, but Teofimo's also the bigger out of the two. Teofimo's a big guy. So, again, I want to see these fights, man. I want to see these guys fight each other. As of right now, not one of these guys have fought each other. No, Teofimo, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Lomachenko, Gervonta Davis. None of these guys have fought one another. We've got 5 guys in around the same weight division. Add Shakur Stevenson to the mix. Not one of these guys have fought each other. For me, that's fairly pathetic. You know, none of these guys have got in the ring with each other yet. Which, surely that has to change. Surely they eventually will get in the ring with each other, because at the minute it doesn't seem likely, does it? It doesn't seem like any of these guys are going to fight each other. So surely Gervonta Davis is now going to fight one of those big guns in his next fight. That's what I want to see anyway. I don't know what you guys want to see, but I want to see Gervonta Davis step up and fight one of these guys at 135, man. If it's not going to be at 140, because, you know, Leonard Ellaby has already said that it's not going to be Josh Taylor. So, you know, if you're not looking to fight the top guy at 140, which is Josh Taylor, then surely it's got to be back at 135 fighting the best there. But, you know, time will tell what happens with Gervonta Davis. But he's an exceptional talent, is a great fighter. But I want to see him fight Teofimo Lopez or Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia or Lomachenko. What do you guys want to see? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.